at 6:04 p.m. The first order of business is roll call. May we please commence roll call?
Yep. Student trustee Bravo.
Here.
Cool. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the right document. Okay. President Kumar.
Here.
Vice President Ahmed is also here. Treasurer Nita Manuri.
Here.
Hannah, we can't hear you.
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Cool. Okay. Chief of Staff Almendras.
Present.
Chair Hamad.
Present.
Chair El Adawi.
Present.
Chair Nadala.
Present.
Chair Ovire.
Present.
Chair Zhao.
Present.
And then Speaker Stancheva.
Present.
Representative Guerrero.
Daniela has an excused absence.
Okay. Representative Patineo.
Here.
Representative Kasowski.
Here.
Okay, and then Representative Denebot has an excused absence. Representative Neji.
Here.
Representative Aranda Ortiz.
Present.
Representative Taylor.
Present. Sorry.
Representative Abdul Salam.
Present.
Representative Selvaraj.
Present.
Representative B. Representative B. Representative.
Hey, Hannah, so I see that Representative B is in the meeting, so I would consider her to be present.
Okay. Representative Fernandez.
Present.
Representative Villa Gomez.
Present.
Representative Huck.
Present.
Representative Nugent.
Present.
Representative Al-Saadi. Representative Al-Saadi. Okay. Representative Vilva Sigamani.
Present.
Representative Khan.
Present.
Representative Malik.
Present.
Representative Henry.
Present.
Representative Chrisman. Representative Chrisman. And Representative Vora.
Present.
Cool. That concludes roll call.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. So the next order of business is reading and approval of the minutes. So please take this time to read over the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Okay, if not, then the minutes will stand as approved. The next order of business is reading and approval of the agenda. Please take this time to read over the agenda. Are there any corrections to the agenda?
No, I just need to add something. Can I motion to add
Yes, go ahead.
resolution? Oh no, hold up. I closed out the tab by accident. I just need to pull up the name real quick.
No problem. Would that be, while you're waiting, would that be new business or old business?
Wait, I don't know where. Oh, hold up. It's Dr. Chen calling me. What? Okay, so can we add resolution 2020-S6-603 or 601? Because
New-
I have, I think, 3 resolutions. I have 3 resolutions lined up, so we can change this one to 601.
Can you repeat the name, please?
Yeah. Oh wait, I have to change S. This is 9?
Yeah, this is meeting 8.
8. Okay, sorry. Because I wrote it a long time ago. Okay, so resolution 2020 S8601.
S8601. Okay, so that's a new resolution, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do you have?
No, that's it. That's it.
That's it?
The
Okay.
other
So-
2 will present them after spring break.
all right, so there has been a motion to add resolution 2021-S8-601 to new business. All those in favor of this amendment, please say aye.
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 All that oppose, please say nay. Does anybody abstain? Okay, the ayes have it. So resolution 2021-S8-601 has been added. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Okay, if there are no other changes, then the agenda will stand as approved. The next order of business is public comment. Is there any public comment? Okay, if there is no public comment, then we can move on to the next order of business, which is guest speakers. Anshu, would you like to introduce our first guest speaker?
Yeah, so Nizar is the president of the Pre-Law Society. The Treasury Committee met with him, and we kind of liked the idea that he had for the funds. And so I'll kind of give the floor to Nizar to explain what his club is and why they want funding from USG.
Thank you, Anshu. So I also today brought with me the treasurer, Abby, and then my vice president, Drew. Yeah, so we're gonna, do you guys want us to share our screen for our presentation, or how do you guys want us to do that?
Sure, you can do that if you would like to do that.
Okay, as long as it's okay. I'm a guest here, so as long as it's okay with you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I'm gonna share this. Yeah, so I guess we will get started from the beginning. As soon as I can figure out how to start a slideshow on this.
It's the big button that says present on the top right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my Zoom camera was blocking. All right, thank you. Yeah, so we're the Pre-Law Society here at UIC, and today we'll be asking funds for certificates and cords for our organization. Okay, so first of all, what we are, like I mentioned, we're the Pre-Law Society, and so the Pre-Law Society is UIC's organization for students who want to attend law school, are thinking about attending law school, or just interested in learning about the legal field in general. We provide an organization for those students here at UIC to establish a community with students that have similar interests to them and are looking to build a community and a support base for their academic interests regarding pre-law as an academic goal, or even considering pre-law as an academic goal. So that is what we do as an organization. And we do this by hosting events featuring different panelists, legal panelists such as lawyers, law students, admissions offices. We also host events for different LSAT companies to come and discuss their products, and then as well as just informing educational events, informational events that focus on best informing our members on the pre-law as an academic goal and what needs to be accomplished through that goal and things along that nature. So I'm going to hand it to Abby to discuss the fellowship.
Hi everyone, my name's Abigail. I'm the treasurer of the Pre-Law Society. And so for PLS, we have two memberships. We have a regular member and we also have certified fellows. And so to become a certified fellow of the Pre-Law Society, you have to attend at least 50% of our events that we hold throughout the year. And so the members who do so become certified fellows, and they will receive a certificate that states that they are certified members of the Pre-Law Society. We believe that with this certification, it will allow them to distinguish themselves from other law school applicants and just legitimize their participation in an important organization such as the Pre-Law Society. And so today we are asking for funds from USG to purchase two things. Firstly, graduation courts. And so the purpose of these courts is to congratulate our members who made the effort to become certified fellows. As I mentioned, to become a certified fellow, you have to make the time and effort to attend at least 50% of our events. And so we want to recognize that effort and that work. And we believe that with these courts, it will legitimize their participation in the Pre-Law Society, especially on an important day such as graduation day. We took a look at some of the products here on Amazon. As you can see, we see that one court is around $6.95. And we also took a look at buying them in bulk amounts. And so we estimate that we have around 40 fellows. It might be more by the end of the semester. And so it might be a little bit less than $4.50 each. And that includes for our members and our board. And so roughly it'll be around $300, again, taking shipping into consideration. And we will also like to purchase some certificates that state fellowship for our members who do become fellows of the Pre-Law Society. The purpose is to provide our members with proof of their continued participation in the Pre-Law Society, legitimize their participation. And this is so that our members can use this in job or law school applications and stand out among other applicants. We took a look at FedEx to see some price points. And as you can see here, for certificates, they start around 95 cents per print. Again, we might purchase them in bulk pricing. And we do, like I mentioned already, we have around 40 fellows, including our board. And so it would be roughly $70, taking shipping into consideration as well.
Yeah, so Abby touched on it as well, but so why we would like USG funding is because we believe that the UIC students, along with this, this was a pretty troubling last year for UIC students with the pandemic and all. So we believe that providing them with certificates and cords will help with their academic goals. Specifically because, as Abby had mentioned, a lot of times law schools do look for involvement in extracurriculars, and they take that into heavy consideration. And so with the certificates and the cords, we'd be able to provide our fellows with proof that not only were they just members in our organization, however, they were fellows, meaning that they actively participated and they showed an interest in the pre-law field, and thus they have an interest in pursuing law school. And they, again, with their active participation, they help contribute to the pre-law society and help build that community for future law students and future lawyers. So by providing law schools with proof stating this, we believe that'll be incredibly beneficial to UIC students. And as well, we would like to provide some reward for the UIC students as well for their academic achievements and for taking the time and effort in joining our organization and actively helping build that base and that community that the Pre-Law Society hopes to establish. And we feel like our fellows worked hard for this, so we would like to also provide them for some sort of reward. And we thought of a cool way we could provide proof that, or kind of show that USG helped us with this, establishing this goal. In regards to the chords, we were at the end of our semester, we do plan on having kind of like a goodbye event, a farewell event, and which students will be provided with chords by then, hopefully. And so we'll make sure at the event to mention that USG is responsible for these chords, and that we're able to provide these chords in accordance with USG. And in regards to the certificates, kind of an example you see here, there's that seal at the top of the certificate. We were wondering if USG had some sort of seal or stamp of approval that we can post on the certificates stating that this was sponsored by USG and kind of making it official with USG's permission. So that's something we want to provide on the certificate. Again, letting our fellows know that this was provided in accordance with USG. And thank you guys for taking the time to let us present. If you guys have any questions, you can reach us here at our emails. So yeah, thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to present.
Thank you so much for presenting. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. So when was your club established?
So our club, the Pre-Law Society has been established before, like in 2018 and then I believe 2017, but it's never stayed consistent. And so essentially we revived it this past semester. So this was our first year of reviving it. And so our goal is to make sure it stays functioning. So yeah, this was our first year of reviving it.
Okay. And sorry, I see a few other hands raised, but how do you plan to continue providing chords and certificates to your members after this semester?
Yeah, so unfortunately, kind of with the
I'm gonna try. It's Drew. Can you hear me? No.
Oh,
okay.
You were kind of cutting out. No, we can hear you now though.
No, I think my internet's lagging. You go ahead, Nizar.
Okay. Yeah. So we, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we kind of weren't able to have like in-person events and thus like have a lot of fundraising opportunities. However, when we work with, for example, test prep companies, they're able to provide us funds for, they pay us to kind of host events for them. So that's one way that we receive funding. And then another way is we do like fundraising events that we were planning on having fundraising events such as bake sales and things along that nature. But, again, because of the pandemic, we weren't really able to do that. And then another plan we were kind of hoping to do this year, however, it was a bit difficult, was Pre-Law Society merch. So that's another way we can raise funds to provide these certificates and chords to our members.
Kayla?
In terms of, because you said it's like 50% of our attendance is 50% to be fellow.
Yeah.
For those who, how are you going to determine how many chords and certificates to get based on, and then compared to like how many people are fellows at the end of the year?
Yeah, so at all of our events, we have an attendance sheet that we send into the Zoom link multiple times throughout the event. And so if you attend the events, you sign up there. And then at the end of the year, we total how many events you've attended, compared to how many events we've hosted altogether. And so from that, we see how many people have attended at least 50% of the events, and then we're able to determine who's a fellow and who's a member.
Right. Sorry, just to clarify. And so then how many cords and certificates do you plan on getting to ensure that you have enough for the members that do qualify for fellow?
Oh, right. So yeah, that's why right now in total, we probably have around, I'd say 33 to 36 members who are, including the board, who are officially, on track to become fellows. But based off of attendance so far from this semester and last semester, those that aren't fellows yet, but are pretty close to hitting that 50% threshold, if we take them into account, then we have 40, then that's about 40. And so that's why we're asking for 40, because that's to keeping track of any people that might become fellows just in case. Does that answer the question? Okay, cool.
Leon?
Yeah, first I want to thank you guys for coming and presenting. Nizar, Abby, and Drew, thank you for being here. I just want to ask, how are you, what kind of steps are you taking to make sure that your club stays consistent? Because you mentioned that they kind of became inconsistent in the past. And I have a quick suggestion before you answer my question. If maybe you can talk to your members, if they find maybe if they have interest in USG, and have them join us, because I think maybe our fields align in some type of way. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that's a good point. We actually we would like to work with more organizations, but again, because it's our first year, we're kind of taking gradual steps to do that. But in terms of making sure that this organization stays consistent, we selected our board for next year, and our emphasis on selecting the board was to have make sure that they were going to be able to stay the whole year, and even some underclassmen such as sophomores, we kind of took a priority and choosing students that are don't only have 1 year left at UIC, because then if we want, they'll be able to stay an extra year and help make sure the organization doesn't collapse. Such as, for example, we have 2 presidents being selected for next year, because one of our presidents, she is actually a current board member now. However, she's going to be staying an extra semester next year, so she's going to be our co-president, and so we'll kind of have a precedent for how to maintain the organization. And also, we plan on having the new board members we selected attend the rest of our board meetings for this semester, so they know how to run the organization and they kind of see how we do things. And then we also do plan on, we did edit a new constitution to kind of address some of the flaws that happened with the last pre-law society. And then we do plan on meeting with our board members at the end of our new board members at the end of the year to help them construct the plan for next year, to make sure that we don't have some of this previous problems.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we would have time for just one more question. Does anybody have a last question? Okay, if not, then if you guys could put your contact information in the chat, that would be awesome. You guys feel free to contact them, send them an email or any sort of message. And thank you so much for presenting. We really liked your presentation. And yeah, thank you for your time. Feel free to stay for the rest of the meeting or leave however you'd prefer.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, so the next order of business is old business, and there is currently no old business. The next order of business is new business. First, we have resolution 2021-S8-404. Aitana, would you like to present it?
Yes. All right. So this is called Amendments for Resolution 2021 S5-403. The chief sponsor is me. Whereas before March 1st, prices for the custom ink items were estimated to cost $865.60 for 40 items, more prices, with sizes containing extra small to 3XL. And whereas the stickers were estimated to cost $125 for version 1 price and version 2 price. I'm so sorry, I cannot read numbers. Whereas on March 1st, the grand total for all items accounted in Resolution 2021 S543 amounted to $4,436.01. And whereas after filing the RFF and passing Resolution 2021 S543 on March 1st, PRC found that Custom Ink no longer sold extra large for the hoodie, and sizes above L had additional costs, which amounted to $128.31, and found the stickers contained additional costs for tax and shipping, which amounted to $50.14. Then let it be resolved, Resolution 2021 S843 will amend costs from Resolution 2021 S5403 with Custom Ink hoodie, that's the new cost, it increased, and the crew neck increased, the t-shirt decreased, and tax for that amount for a grand total of $1,888.91. And stickers with the same costs for version 1 and version 2, but only adding the shipping and the tax, which is $37.16 and tax for $12.98 to a grand total of $175.14. Let it be resolved, Resolution 2021 S8404 will be adding $177.85 to Resolution 2021 S543 and calculate to a new grand total of $4,613.86, replacing the old grand total of $4,436.01. And below that, I have took a screenshot of the checkout, so you can see how much the prices are with shipping and with tax for the new items or for the updated items. And then below it, I believe is the RFF. I think go down more after the resolution. There you go. Is the RFF for the new RFF for 2021 S8404.
Aitana, I think you asked me to add both of them. So this first one, I believe, is the old one, and then the new one is below it.
Oh, thank you so much for that clarification.
Yep.
Yes, as Daisy had said. The only...
Just a follow-up, you wanted me to accelerate voting on this as well, right?
Yes, please.
Got it.
So,
okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, just to clarify, if you look at the RFF, the only difference is on on row 1 and on row 5. Everything else is the same. So row 1 and row 5 and the estimated grand total.
Okay, thank you. So does anybody have any comments or questions regarding this resolution? And as was mentioned previously, this will be accelerated and we will be voting on this tonight. So if you guys have any amendments, any thoughts, feel free to share those. Are there any comments? Okay, if there are no comments, then
Yeah, I'd like to issue an executive order to move voting on Resolution 2021-S8-404 to tonight.
okay. So the president has moved to make this resolution an executive order, so we'll be voting on this tonight. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 2021-S8-404, please say aye.
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 All that oppose, please say nay. Does anybody abstain? All right, this resolution has passed. Next, we have Resolution 2021-S8-601. So Bayan, if you'd like to present or and read that would be great.
Oh, I can't share my screen. Oh, it's sharing. Oh, perfect. Okay, never mind. Okay, so chief sponsor, President Wasim Kumar, and Chair of Diversity and Inclusion, myself, and our co-sponsor is Representative Sara Malek. Whereas identifying and preventing gender-based violence on campus is a key priority, and we find it critical to increase awareness on campus among students on how to respond to such incidences and react properly to in a way that does no harm to the survivor. Moreover, students must be equipped with tools to allow them to understand how to navigate a sexual misconduct reporting process and be aware of their options. And whereas the undergraduate sexual assault prevention training required for UIC students has been shown to be ineffective in preventing sexual assault due to the disengaging scenarios presented and the undeniable fact that there have been multiple assaults reported on campus, with with others that have not and others that have not been reported. Students need a more engaging discussion and a facilitator who various scenarios regarding gender-based violence. And whereas the Campus Advocacy Network has developed and will be leading a training for all student organizations which will be required for students to participate in as a new requirement for student organization registration, including fraternity and sorority life, student athletes, and other student leaders in paid or unpaid positions. The training will include survivor centric workshops that facilitate conversations and dialogues addressing the moral dilemma brought upon students when presented with a situation regarding sexual misconduct. Furthermore, these workshops will help students navigate their options and understand when it is the right time to take action and prevent occurrence of an act or of harassment. And whereas a failure to complete the training will result in sanctions being placed upon organizations which include but are not limited to termination of activity for the semester, prohibition of organizing on campus events, prohibition of reserving on campus spaces, loss of funds received by the university, and disapproval of requests for USG funds. Then let it be resolved the undergraduate student government demands a leadership training to be required for all registering student organizations, including fraternity and sorority life, student athletes, and other student leaders beginning fall 2021, which will be led by staff from the Campus Advocacy Network unit on campus. We recommend further that this training be expanded to be offered to all students at UIC through the first year seminar program. Let it be further resolved that USG will work with the Student Affairs Department, Center for Student Involvement, and Student Engagement Office to ensure the training is being implemented and that all student organizations are completing the training. That's all.
All right, thank you. So I'd like to open up the floor for debate. Does anybody have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding this resolution?
I have a question. So, have you started talks yet with CSI and the other organizations?
Yeah, that's a great question. Watson can answer.
Yeah, sure. So we had an opportunity last week, Bayan and I, to present to the executive leadership team of the Student Affairs Department. And so we had a chance to talk to both like the chairs of these various departments, and they seem very much in favor of this. And we had a conversation earlier today, actually, that we were able to organize with like campus housing, student athletes, like who else was there? Like the Dean of Students Office, Fraternity Sorority Life, as well as CSI. And we got a chance to present this and kind of continue conversations around how we might go about implementing such a program for student organizations as well as student leaders.
Okay, thank you.
Michael?
Yeah.
I just have a question on, does this extend to like just the president or like vice president or the entire e-board would be required to come to this meeting? Sorry if it says on the thing, I just didn't see.
No, yeah, that's a good question. Essentially just looking at the top 3 officers, because that's the most like logistically feasible kind of thing. Because in CSI you report who's your treasurer, who's your president, who's your first officer.
That makes sense.
But for USG, We will want all of you to be there.
Are there any other comments, questions, or concerns?
I guess I have,
Oh, go for
Go
it.
ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask really quickly, is there a plan to executive order this, or do we have a little bit to kind of look over it?
Yeah, no plan for me.
Okay.
So probably wait until after spring break.
Oh, all right. Sounds good.
So what will this leadership training look like?
Dude, I actually have an entire PowerPoint presentation in my report. I wasn't gonna go through the whole thing just to save everyone time, but it is there, and I'll give y'all the 5-minute version of it. You know me, I love my reports and my PowerPoints.
Okay, looking forward to it then.
Any other comments, questions, or concerns? Sarah?
Sorry, I was trying to lower my hand. So I do have a question. At the very bottom, I think it says that the Student Affairs Department would be involved. Will USG, specifically the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, would also be working on this as well? I'm not sure if that was also stated.
Oh, it's Student Affairs Department of the university, not the not USG's Student Affairs, because you know, they're the ones who make things happen. So when we presented to the board of directors, who, like Vice Chancellor Rex Tolliver, right? Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs. But if Student Affairs and USG would want to be involved in this, obviously, they can be, like, just reach out to us and we'll let you know of our meetings with Can. And I actually have a call with Dr. Cheng scheduled for 8:30 p.m. So if you want to join, it's on it's on Facebook Messenger.
Okay. And then my follow-up question is, would you want the Diversity and Inclusion Committee to be helping with this as well for next year?
Oh, I guess I said all this and I didn't even answer your question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, I know. I thought you were asking if like student affairs would be involved. But yeah, I think we should, because we worked with Ken a lot, and yeah, we've been working on it a lot. But if student affairs wants to be involved in it and take it over, that's fine too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, anything is fine. You're welcome.
Any other comments, questions, or concerns? Okay, if not, this resolution will be voted on at the next meeting, which will be after spring break. So the next order of business is items for discussion. Does anybody have any items for discussion? All right, it seems like there are no items for discussion. The next order of business is ex officio reports. May we please have the report of the advisor?
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the report of the student trustee.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you all. My name is Jocelyn. For those of you that don't know me, I have quite a history with USG. I'm a fifth-year senior, and I spent the first 4 years of my undergraduate years at CUSG. It's been so long. Just committee chair, then Speaker of the House, then Vice President last semester, well, last year. So I do have quite a history, and I've been so amazed with all the work that you guys have done under the Wasan, what's Kumar administration? I forgot your last name. I'm like, Wasan and Kumar. It's right there too, under the Kumar administration, and Hannah as well. Her work with the Mental Health Coalition has been incredible, and obviously everyone else, all the chairs, you guys are still called chairs, right? I don't know what's changed. It's been so long. So again, like I'm student trustee, so that means I'm one of 3 student trustees on the board of trustees for the University of Illinois system. This year I've met with support programs in addition to student groups. So my focus has been meeting with AAAN, ARC, Lattice, all types of support programs to just get an understanding of student issues, because while we students are usually at UIC for 3 to 5 years, staff members tend to be here for more than 5. So I wanted to meet with staff members to get an understanding of current issues during COVID and systematic issues that were pre and will continue to be post-COVID. In my meetings, I realized, like all of you, that funding is an issue. So then the question was how to get more funding. So with meeting with the financial aid office, the budget office, I started to get a better understanding of where our funding was coming from. And right now, a big project that I like to start working on is really starting to change the system of funding and how it's granted. So currently, like colleges and units have request funding from the budget office, and then that passes to the chancellor and provost, and then that goes to the board of trustees, and that it doesn't include stakeholders like students, faculty, staff members, TAs, and so on. So finding a way to have them in that conversation of where funding should be allocated. In terms of financial aid, there's currently $15 million of financial aid that the university provides to students. So if we could find like outside sources for that, those 15 million could go elsewhere. One of the ways we're looking into is possibly cutting the police budget, but there are other ways that can be done. And one of those is getting gift money. So gift money is usually like from alum organizations, the credit unit, what's it called? The credit arena. Credit One Arena is an example of gift money. So like an organization or firm gave money to the university, and that's under the Office of Advancement. So they handle gift money. So then my question was, how do we have, alumni potentially be able to donate? Because one of the strengths of Urbana is that they have a lot of really wealthy donors. One of them is in the board of trustees, and they gave a $10 million donation promise. And I was like, wow, I would, I don't want to go to Urbana, but it definitely feels like it sometimes. I'm kidding. I love UIC. And I think a big challenge with UIC is that our students are working class. So we're about 60% Pell eligible, 70% commuters. So we have a lot of challenges that keep us from, going into internships, research, study abroad, and other opportunities that would potentially make our resume competitive when applying for competitive positions. So in my conversations with administrators, I've talked about changing up the curriculum to include more of those as part of the curriculum instead of electives, because theology is only so, theory is only so vital or significant in a resume. So pushing for having experiences be more valued in degrees, in degree seeking programs. Other than that, I had a meeting with the secretary of the board of trustees, because I've also been I also work with the student mental health task force, and we have a coalition that so many members are part of. And one of the things I wanted to do was get you guys on the agenda to talk about the research. Unfortunately, although it won't be possible to have it on the next board of trustees meeting in May, I'm working with someone to have it put in the Academic and Student Affairs Committee agenda. So we're going to be reaching out to the student groups in all 3 universities, because all 3 universities have a mental health task force, reaching out to the students of those so that everyone can work together to create a presentation. There's going to be a lot of prep work associated. So once I get information as to like who the students contacted were, I'll keep you guys posted. I know there's also been a push for adding MENA into official university documents, and in my conversations, it was said to me that the reason why they're unable to do it at the University of Illinois system basis is because it's hard to transfer information into the integrated post-secondary education data system. So it's a data system that all universities have to like transfer their information into. And right now, the U of I system has a category for like multiracial, but when transferring documents from universities in the Illinois system into the IPEDS integrated post-secondary educational data system, it complicates the data. So basically, although we can push for having MENA in University of Illinois documents, the challenge is that they most likely won't want to because it's challenging to transfer the university documents into the official higher education data system. And the official higher education system has set categories. For example, it has male and female. So even if we provide different categories at the university level, once it's transferred into the official higher education system, the other options are no longer valid. So in essence, like a MENA category in the University of Illinois system documents won't be valid once it's transferred into the higher education data system. But there's still a possibility of pushing for a category that can be just used at the university system level. Furthermore, renaming of buildings. I know there's a big push for renaming buildings such as Thomas Jefferson Hall and also Taylor Street Building. There's currently a process going on with John Marshall, so I was told to just wait to see how that goes. The chancellor formed a working group, and I think like there was in the contract between UIC and John Marshall, they stated that they couldn't rename it before 2025. So if there is a renaming, it would happen after that. So right now it's really a wait and see, but it is a board action. So once it's settled as to whether John Marshall can be renamed, students that are interested in renaming the building can definitely look into that proposal. But it did start with having a university initiative set by the chancellor so that a working group could be created. But those are some of the things that I've been working on in addition to like a few other conversations. And if you guys have like any university issues that you'd like to like bring up to like trustees and stuff, like I could definitely see if I can have a conversation to have you guys included in a committee meeting or anything like that. But yeah, I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to be in previous meetings, and I'm so sorry that I didn't advocate for you guys to run for trustee. For anyone that's not a junior, definitely run next year. I can't stress that enough. And if you do choose to run next spring, I highly encourage you to start working on proposals this upcoming year, because the proposal process is very long. So I wish I would have started like 2 years ago. But yeah, I yield for questions. Oh, if you have any questions too, I'll put my email there. So you can definitely reach out to me if you would like to run for trustee in the future. Yeah, I'm so sorry that I haven't gotten to meet you guys. I love USG. I'm the oldest member of USG. Like right now that I'm here, I'm the oldest one. So like, I think Daisy, you're like second, and Misty too. I don't know. I'm not even a member yet, but anyway, yeah, that's all. Thank you guys.
Thank you. We missed having you here. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, quick question. Do you know who specifically in John Marshall's working on renaming
The
the
working
building?
group. So I could email him about us, like saying, hey, could you give me information as to the working group? But he did form the working group. I don't know the members of it though.
Okay.
But I can email him asking and CC you in the email.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you, Jocelyn. The next order of business is officer report. May we please have the report of the president?
Yeah, so sorry, I scrolled too much. Hey everyone, hope you all had a great weekend. And thank you so much for presenting today, Jocelyn. Over the past week and a half, really, we had Bayan and I an opportunity to present to the Student Affairs Executive Leadership Team to discuss the implementation of this Campus Advocacy Network gender-based violence prevention training for all student leaders. And we're kind of like working through like both like a follow-up and then sort of seeing how this might go further on into the future. And it might be sort of like a multi-year thing ultimately, but we're hoping to pilot this in fall. Beyond that, like we had a chance to kind of meet with some folks to talk about our emergency housing initiative. We met with the folks at the College of Jane Addams to iron out some of the details about hiring a social worker, and I've attached a short job description to my report as well, if anybody's interested in looking through that. We're looking to have a graduate assistant kind of manage this entire program. We also had a chance to meet with the Graduate Student Council, and they're willing to actually offer us about $80,000 in funding to support this housing project. So that's going to be a pretty nice hefty chunk, and that combined with the money that we will hopefully end up getting from Student Affairs should be able to put us into having enough to be able to fund the entire program, which I'm really excited about. And so then, unfortunately, we had planned a schedule with the Chancellor, and we had a whole number of things to discuss that we talked about last week, but that got canceled. And so we're looking to hopefully kind of reschedule that in the next couple of weeks or so. And we're currently like working to get several letters of support, both on a proposal for mental health days, our proposal for, so like the reading week that we had voted on a couple weeks ago, our proposal on the KEGS Gen Ed requirement. If you all remember the Critical Ethnic and Gender Studies program from last semester, which is still kind of under consideration and still being debated by faculty and other folks on the Academic Senate. So we're hoping to get some letters of support from the Chancellor on all of these projects, just so that it might help kind of speed things along if we have tenured support like that. And yeah, I had a chance to participate in a 5-year review with the Chancellor as well, which is pretty cool, with Jocelyn as well. And then, yeah, so Matt, you had a couple of questions regarding student leadership training. So I'll give you like the lightning version of this presentation, but essentially the current sort of Title IX prevention training that we have really is a form of kind of corporate liability prevention and kind of a form of box checking, if you will. Teaches you basic information on harassment and reporting, but actually peer-reviewed research has shown that this is pretty harmful in the sense that you reinforce certain gender stereotypes, you label people in legal context, and you further sort of existing potentially toxic culture. So CAN's leadership training has a ton of benefits around it. It's especially important because it hits on a lot of points that are, again, peer-reviewed and have been shown to be really having a sort of drastic impact on reducing sexual violence on campuses. A great example is a program that was done at the University of Kentucky, where they actually implemented mandatory bystander intervention training that led to about a 50% reduction in cases of sexual violence. And we list out 7 kind of points that are gained by this. And then we list out a little ask, essentially what you saw in the resolution earlier today. This is what we would like to see happen in next fall. And it looks like we will get at least part of this to happen. So that's that. And then this is a little job description that I mentioned earlier. Not too much there, but that's pretty much everything. I yield for any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Sarah?
I have a question based on not based on this week's report, but last week's report where you presented the behavioral health crisis, something like that. Did you get any responses yet from the counseling center or from other people that were involved in it?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of like key stakeholders, like folks at the counseling center, like they love this idea. A lot of like administrators in general are like very supportive of the program because it aims to both create a resource that doesn't exist currently, but also to sort of really fill a niche that is pretty crucial in my opinion. What we're doing next is we have another meeting of the Public Safety Board happening in 3 days, which is really exciting because we're going to get a chance to present on this and hopefully get a chance to really iron out the last details. And then the board as a whole will meet with the chancellor before the end of the semester, and that's kind of the time where we'll get a chance to get more of a concrete commitment. We've already sort of gotten like a verbal agreement to support and fund a pilot program, which is exactly what we're asking for so far. And so later on in the semester, when we get to do that, which is hopefully going to happen sometime next month, I'll be able to give you like all the details there.
Okay. And I also have a follow-up question, kind of.
Yeah.
So in this housing project that you're working on, or that you have been working on since last semester, you said that you would be hiring a social worker. Would it be because that we don't have any social workers or I guess, sorry, let me reiterate. Do we not have a social worker right now to help with future housing projects if needed?
Sort of. So we do have folks, especially in the Dean of Students office as well, who are willing to work as case managers to kind of help out students, especially if you might be going through some sort of emergency situation. And that's all also done through the UNI Care program. What we're looking for specifically is a graduate assistant from the College of Social Work. So I guess I misspoke a little bit when I said social worker. But a grad assistant who would be able to manage and administer this program. And I've listed out about like 7 key responsibilities that we're looking for from this grad assistant. And it's everything from, reading applications and, meeting with students and talking with students who might need immediate assistance for housing to kind of coordinating with campus housing to really kind of seamlessly make sure that they get help. And then also the most important part is to be able to help any student or community member who might find themselves in a situation of homelessness or housing insecurity and help them sort of transition back into a state of having like more permanent housing options. And so kind of like being there for them every single step of the way is the goal of this grad assistant.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So for the training, is it like they have to attend like a PowerPoint that Ken prepares, or how would
It's
that
not,
look like?
oh, sorry. Yeah, it's not a PowerPoint per se, but more similar to a town hall or a webinar where you'd have a Zoom call that might be able to accommodate up to 300 folks, 300 to 500 folks with leaders from the Campus Advocacy Network. And the important thing to recognize is that this is something that they're already doing in a much smaller scale with the FSL, and so with fraternities on campus. And what they've seen is that folks who attend just a couple of these that might have been mandatory find out that they actually really enjoy being in this space and enjoy the kind of difficult conversations that come out of this. And so they actually keep coming back and they ask for more and more sessions. The other thing that I want to mention is yes, we are saying that you would have like a large webinar of several hundred folks, but that's actually exactly how they deliver a similar training over at places like Yale. And so they found success with that there. And so I think that it might be replicable here.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other comments or questions?
I had a really quick, just kind of question that I wanted to put out there. And this isn't like to work against you or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to ask, how are we going to ensure that the training that they would be getting through this is different from the online training? Like it's giving that different effect. Like what are some like actionable items that we're ensuring, I guess, changes with that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the first part to answer your question is that the Campus Advocacy Network and the Office of Access and Equity stand for and really work for very different sets of people. And you kind of see that in the way that they sort of address the community as a whole, but then also sort of the programs that they host. And so if you've ever had a chance to maybe even like attend one of the sessions that Ken has hosted so far, you'll definitely see that there is a significant difference between this and the sort of like 90-minute kind of module clicking that you might have in the existing OAE Title IX training. Beyond that, of course, there's just this list of sort of, I wouldn't say maybe descriptions, but I guess descriptionary items that are associated with Ken's existing leadership training.
Any other questions?
I have a quick question. So I know you said that the current Title IX training is kind of for university liability and stuff like that. So does this training also kind of cover that liability aspect, or?
That's a good question. And it's also really kind of nice to have Jocelyn here as well, because the current Title IX training is created by the University of Illinois system. And so that goes to the Board of Trustees. So we don't necessarily have a direct power to kind of create that sort of change, but it's still something that's doable. Really what we're trying to go for here is to have that be in existence, but kind of go beyond that and kind of go beyond just compliance there, and create something to society as a whole.
Other questions? Okay, just real quick, Wasan, I just want to give you an applause for doing this. This is like a huge thing you're tackling here. So just good job on that and keep pushing for that. We're all behind you, and good luck. And yeah, we hope that all of this gets passed and gets through.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so the next report is the one for our vice president.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. One more week till spring break. Y'all got this. In the chat, can everyone feel free to drop if they have anything fun planned for spring break? Yeah. Okay, so as for the report for this week, in terms of mental health coalition stuff, we're still working on kind of developing a prototype for triage survey. Even though the idea wasn't fully supported, we still kind of want some kind of prototype so that people that are in charge of being able to say yes or no to including it understand what we're asking for, or at least it'll push them to do like the AI solution that they might be thinking of. And then also trying to understand what it takes to essentially get something on one of the UIC web pages. And then we're developing a more comprehensive list of recommendations that we want to implement to update the Counseling Center website. And then again, IRB approval. And then Dean Deanna and Dean Kashima did get back to us with proposed solutions from the mental health task force. So we debriefed some of those. And then upcoming projects, I actually did this today, but met with members of Code Red regarding the menstrual hygiene initiatives. So we're hoping to kind of send the emails that we need to this week so that we can get the ball rolling again on that. And then we are meeting with Vice Chancellor Tolliver's executive team regarding the survey data and our proposed solutions. And then I need to create an interest form for the bonfire liaison position to kind of take out the rest of the semester. That is it. Any questions?
Are there any questions? All right, if there are no questions, thank you, Hannah. Next, we have the report of the treasurer.
Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing good, having a good day, and being relaxed. So kind of just updating you guys on how the library is doing. I've been able to successfully transfer all of the $10,000 and the $2,000 of the charging locker to the library, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. And once Aitana kind of finishes the design, it'll be ready to be purchased by the library because they already have the money for it. And then I'm kind of also in communication with the chess club to make sure that they got like the RFFs correct and the prices match with the resolution, and we're not overpaying. I'm still waiting for an update from the sustainability department regarding the electric scooter docks, and I plan to invite them to a future meeting so we can get all your guys' input on where you want the docks to be and if you want to be USG branded. And then I also met with the Red Shoes Review at UIC, and they're asking for funds for merchandise and material. I know they make magazines featuring literature and poetry created by UIC students. And so when I met with them, I know they said they would be willing to put a page dedicated to USG and kind of talking about what we've been doing. So I think it might be a great collaboration with them. And then I also sent the USG merchandise RFFs to the Dean of Students office, but as you guys voted on the new updated RFFs, I'll be sending that to the Dean of Students office shortly, so there's no like miscommunication or confusion on the prices of everything. And then I also plan to start working on the Uber Eats vouchers maybe sometime during spring break. So if anyone has any ideas on an event that we can do with the Uber Eats vouchers, or if you guys have any ideas on like the price or anything regarding the Uber Eats vouchers, hit me up. I'm open to any suggestions. I want to be as open and transparent through this process as I can be. So if anyone has any questions or any ideas, let me know. And then I just want to kind of remind everyone that the Treasury Committee meets Thursdays at 6 p.m. So, if you guys have any funding questions, feel free to drop in, email me, I'll send you the link. If you know any organizations or clubs on campus that may want potential funding and you're not sure whether this can be funded or if it's a good idea, drop into the Treasury Committee meeting. We can all kind of talk about it and I can give you my thoughts on it as well. That's kind of everything I had. So if you have any questions, I'll yield for questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then the treasurer's report will be filed. Next, we can have my report. So a lot of interesting things going on this week. First of all, thank you to all of the representatives for meeting with me. I was able to meet with every single person that is a representative, so that was really great, and thank you guys for your time. So here are some of the takeaways. So we got a large majority of members think that the executive board is doing great, working hard on initiatives they are passionate about, and that the e-board has much better communication than last semester, which is great to hear. Some members would like to see USG work on using funds to help students, work on accommodating students, have more inclusive language, offer housing, have more direct initiatives rather than proposals, do more partnerships with library, food pantry, etc., work together on similar initiatives, have all professors use Blackboard Calendar, encourage representatives to present more resolutions, give more updates to the public, find leverage with the UIC administration, and more. So all of this is really great feedback, and thank you all for providing that to me. And also thank you to both the Diversity and Inclusion and Campus Life chairwoman and members for meeting with me and working on the bidet initiative. At the moment, it doesn't look like the bidet attachment is possible for UIC toilets because the toilets just do not allow that. And the administration is not currently interested or looking to make repairs on the toilet or totally fix those. So we are considering at the moment buying reusable ones and passing a resolution that support the installment of attachable bidets when the bathrooms do get renovated. And Bayan and Michelle can give you more specifics on the progress because they are directly overseeing it with their members. Additionally, I last weekend met with Matthew and we ended up finishing the strike policy, which we will be presenting as a resolution for the next meeting. And that's really exciting because we've been working on this all semester. Finally, we were able to come up with something that we think would be awesome and we're excited to show you. As you guys can see, the new layout for the meetings has been implemented starting this meeting. Guest speakers will now have a time limit of 5 or 10 minutes to present based on how many guest speakers we have for that day, as well as 5 minutes for questions. And time can be extended or shortened if a member makes a motion that is voted on and passed. Officer reports will also be timed based on how much time there is left during the meeting. Right now, it seems like we have a lot of time left, which is why I am not really timing those. But in the future, if we are on a time crunch, then those will be timed as well. And this is important, so you guys may want to listen up for this one. After the UIC elections, USG will be holding internal elections for the positions of speaker and treasurer. And Masan, if you want to scroll down, that would be great. So a little more. Yep. Yeah. So if you guys are interested in the position of speaker or treasurer for the next academic year, here is a few things that you should know. First is that only current USG members can apply. This is an internal election, so if you are not currently in USG, you cannot apply. Those who are interested will have to be nominated by another another USG member, and they will have to accept the nomination. So if you would like to be nominated, I would suggest maybe talking to somebody and asking them to nominate you. And then you would have to if you would like to, you can accept the nomination or you can decline the nomination. So when we do the nominations, each candidate will need to present a short speech for why they should be elected. Voting will happen on the same day that nominations happen, and results will be announced shortly. So Wasan and I will have to work on making that voting form really quick as the nominations come in. And the newly elected members or the newly elected whoever is in those positions will have the rest of the year to work with the people currently in those positions in order to begin the transition and to have that transition be successful. So this is pretty important. So as I mentioned, if you guys are interested, please make sure that you have someone nominate you and have a speech ready. I'm not sure if that will happen at the next meeting or the one after it, but right now I'm striving to have it at the next meeting on the 29th. And that is all from my report. If you guys have any questions, by the way, after tonight, you can also email me, send me a message. I'm happy to answer any questions. But for right now, does anybody have anything that they would like to ask or comment?
Hey Daisy, I do have one question. For nominations, is it possible to be nominated by more than one USG member, or does it only need one nomination?
Just one.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. If you guys are asked to nominate somebody, make sure that you actually do support them as a candidate, because nomination not technically an endorsement, but it does look like it. Um, so yeah, and just to clarify for the date, I'm not sure exactly when, but I am considering doing it on the 29th, which is the following meeting, right after spring break. But that depends based on the elections. And I'm currently waiting to see, like, I think some people might be more comfortable working under certain candidates, or under a certain administration. So I think that it would be better that we wait for the election results before we go into the speaker and treasurer elections. Um, but we'll have to see. I think that the results should be out by next meeting, and yeah. So, okay, that's a good question, Kayla. Thank you for bringing that up. The positions are open because, let's see. Um, so if somebody is currently in that position, they would have to run again. So, technically, it's based on the results. So for example, I could run and somebody else could run, and then we would both have to give a speech and get votes, etc. That makes sense. Any other questions? Okay, that's pretty exciting stuff. So if anyone ends up having any additional questions, you know how to find me. And with that, I conclude my report. Next, we have the report of the Chief of Staff.
Thank you. So found this quote, says, fall 7 times, stand up 8 times. It's about, perseverance. And so last week, we worked on the Student Organization Award nomination for USG. And I think we did a great job in working together as an organization to get these awards. We applied for 2 awards. I think we have a very strong case to win these. And spring break is next week, and I guess the committees are doing great. I've been meeting with them constantly throughout the semester, and everyone, including the members, are doing a great job. And yeah, I met with Daisy to discuss the strike policy, the restructure the USG meeting. Yeah, the strike policy is basically finished. We just need to present. Yeah, it took like how many months? Like 2 months, and but it's finally done. So we'll present that to you guys in the next meeting. So yeah, in progress still. It's like we're still trying to figure out how we can get a listserv for you for USG. I think one of our options is using the newsletter that the CSI sends out. I think is it like weekly or is it monthly? But so how we would do that is that collectively we would have to send it to them. So like that's probably maybe you guys can send me content to me, and then I'll compile that into a document and then send that to the CSI. But personally, I think that it would be best if we had our own listserv that we can send our own newsletters like the one we currently have, but like to all the students. And yeah, currently cabinet members are working on their executive handbooks, so we'll have that done by at the very least by the end of the semester. And yeah, I'm still contacting department heads about policy for open source textbooks. Hopefully we can get some discussions going before this semester ends. And yeah, that's all for my report. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions? All right, if there are no questions, then the Chief of Staff's report will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee Chair.
Hi everyone. So a couple of things we're working on. I know you're right. We have one coming up. We just had one on Thursday. Went pretty well. We'll have the recordings up soon, and I'll share them with you. We have one coming up for student protesters, but kind of Outlaws more in charge of like organizing it. We're just creating the flyer, but once we have the time and date, we'll update you on that. Oh, Interfaith Conversation Hour is on Thursday at 5 p.m. I heard a lot of people are exciting for that. I am too. This is a nice reminder to send them the questions that I'm gonna ask them. The Counseling Center podcast. Yeah. So Hannah and Dahlia, if you guys received my email, I attached the flyer for the podcast with Arena. If you could just respond to her with like your availability of when to do the recording. I think she just wants to do like a 1 hour thing, and the topic, like which topic you would want to discuss with her. And if you don't want to do the first one, if you like want my committee to do the first one, that's fine. Just let us know. For the committee meeting, it went well. Daisy and Michelle joined and me. And yeah, to speak more about it, so Dania is working on the resolution to present to you guys like the cost of the bidets. We decided to have them portable bidets, and we decided to have them included in the dispenser that we want to include the menstrual products in. And we're wondering if we could work with Hannah on like just coordinate like the timeline of when things are gonna happen so that they like just happen at the same time. And yeah, she'll present to you hopefully like whenever she's done. So Watson talked about our meeting with Ken, and yeah, we worked on the diversity award. And lastly, Kayla released our newsletter, which looked pretty great, a lot better than the one I released. I was a little jealous, but it was very nice. Any questions? I yield for questions.
Are there any questions? Hannah?
Wait, Bayan, for clarification, what you glossed over this just a little bit, but like what is Danya working on? Or like, how does it connect to the menstrual products
Because
stuff?
we just want it included in like portable bidets because it's like really hard to install them in the toilet. So we just want to provide portable ones if we could have them in the dispenser.
I don't think that would be feasible just because the dispensers are meant, like you mean actually in the dispenser, right?
Or some type of like way to include them.
Because right now the dispenser is designed for like very specifically like pads and tampons, and so I don't know that we would be able to do it in the same thing.
Yeah.
My assumption is you would have to have a different dispenser altogether. I don't know, do you have any other ideas of how that could look?
Yeah, that's a good point actually. That makes more sense. I don't know what I was imagining in my head, but yeah, we're looking into also providing the culture centers with them and then they can kind of distribute it to whoever needs it. So, do you think that's a better idea?
I think that's a more tangible option for right now, yeah.
Okay. Okay, we can do that for sure.
Or like question, are the portable ones, are they like one-time use or are they ones that can be used again?
Yeah, you can reuse them.
Okay, so then yeah, it makes more sense to have the cultural centers have them.
Okay, gotcha.
Any other questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then the report of the chairwoman of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Legislative Affairs Committee Chair.
Awesome. Hi guys. Hope everybody is doing well. I know I'm getting ready for my second round of midterms, so I hope nobody's going through the same thing and you guys can just go into spring break smooth. But so in regards to this past week, I got a response from IRB. They said it was a lot of yes, you can do it, but I can't say yes, you can do it. So there's a lot of just like wording and jargon, but so I think we'll be able to share those results. We have to review a couple things, but there's an all clear for Henna's capstone, so that's the most important thing at this point. But yeah, we're potentially going to start with faculty and then just kind of have it trickle down. We can't publish anything per se, so we're gonna be kind of working in this gray area, but hopefully we'll be able to get those stats out so students can see them and access them easily. That being said, I do kind of want to preface that by saying talk to either Henna or I if you do want to be sharing results. That's not something that we want to do right off the bat right now, just because we're still trying to figure out what we can and what we can't do and how to like function in that gray area they gave us. So definitely just let Henna or I know before you share any of those results. So part of the Mental Health Coalition is going to be meeting with Vice Chancellor Tolliver tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So we're putting together a report for that. Just again, we're probably going to be including stats in some of the work that we've accomplished and then are also really getting the ball rolling on. So that should be a pretty good meeting. I met with Matt's committee on future instruction at UIC. That was on Friday. It was really insightful to be able to hear a report back on that committee. And I'm really interested in seeing how things play out within that committee. But yeah, it was a really insightful time. So thank you for inviting me. In regards to CORE, so CORE had their general meeting on Tuesday, and then on Thursday, they met with Vice Chancellor Bellares. And there was just a lot of talk about civic engagement and how to make it more accessible and really putting funding into the amount of work and civic engagement that goes into a lot of functions on campus. So it was a very introductory meeting, but it's promising. So that'll be exciting to look into. And I attended Meet the Candidates. So congrats to everybody that went to that. That was proud of everybody that said their 2 cents. Y'all did amazing. But yeah, it was a good time. In regards to my committee meeting, we had that immediately after Meet the Candidates. So I was going to have Taylor, who is the Student Advocacy Coalition president, come into our meeting to talk to us about lobbying. Unfortunately, she was, because of Meet the Candidates, we had to shift our committee time, so that didn't really work out. I'm going to be reaching out to her today to see if we can reschedule, but we're not 100% on that. So if anything, it'll be after spring break. And then in regard to Misty's Army ROTC Fight Sexual Misconduct was approved. So her and Professor Ada are going to be working towards just ensuring that things are going to run smoothly. And we're also looking into location and scheduling. Location right now is a little bit iffy just because the biggest room is currently doing COVID testing. And if we were going to be taking an outside space, we can't necessarily talk to like a main person at Rooms and Services, I think that office is called. But I've reached out to a couple of people, so I'm just waiting to hear back. This week's meeting is going to be at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. So if you do want to show up to that, it'll be Wednesday this week at 9 p.m. instead of Friday. And then we will not be meeting over spring break. So that's about it for me. I do want to say a big congratulations to our committee deputy chair, Michael. And I will be allotting the rest of my time to have him speak on his initiative.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to start off by saying thank you to Dahlia for trusting me with this position, and I promise to give my absolute best and top effort to fill this role. Next, I am going to explore an idea that I think should be addressed during the transition from online to in-person learning. And basically what it is I'll be contacting UIC administration that's coordinating this transition, and I want to ask them basically how they're going to accommodate, commuters and non-commuters that will be needing a quiet space to do their online classes in between their in-person classes. So of course, I haven't experienced it firsthand, but I've heard like the library is packed, so there's not a ton of quiet spaces all the time, and I think there will be increased traffic due to people having online classes that they have to do in between their in-person classes. So if anyone has any input on that, feel free to say it now. If not, you can also message me if you want to work on that together.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both. Does anybody have any questions?
I think one of the things we were talking about was having more opportunities to really kind of invite an administrator here for a sort of hearing style program. And I think that this is definitely one of the things that we could do that for.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Did you contact the person already that would be responsible for that, or will that be a future thing?
I have not, but I have a couple people in mind who I think would be great for this. There's like, as you know, like Susan Bleasdale like runs the whole kind of like vaccine safety program at UIC. So I think that she'd be a great person. But other people would be like Vice Chancellor Coronado or like Vice Chancellor Tolliver might also be able to talk about specifically what you're asking here with regards to like spaces for commuter students. I think that could be pretty cool.
Any other comments or questions? All right.
Well, a question in chat from Zaid.
Sorry, go ahead.
It just says, will USG be in person next semester?
That will probably be based on what the administration in the future decides. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Basically, whatever they decide, that's how it'll be.
Can I add something about that? So today when we met with CSI, they said they're like planning to kind of train students on having on-campus events, but honestly, I think it's too early to talk about whether we're gonna be back in person, sadly. But yeah. Like, I don't think the new administration can decide that. I think it's kind of a university rule.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, well, if there are no questions, then the report of the Legislative Affairs Chairwoman and Deputy Chair will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Public Relations Committee Chair.
Hello there. So nothing much, just uploaded the usual YouTube videos for our meetings. And then I filed the resolution, but then found that there are problems with it. So the resolution that we read today was formed. Sarah, my deputy chair, sent get to know me forms and profile picture forms to new USG representatives so that they can update the website. Once you get that form, please fill it out as soon as possible so we can put your name and your photo on the website. In progress is what we've been doing for the past semester so far. And then Resolution 2021 S8404 is a new one. And another new one is creating a video for organization nominations. So that was done on Sunday. That was really fun to do. All right, that's it for me. If you have any questions, let me know.
Are there any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then the report of the Public Relations Chairwoman will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Student Affairs Committee Chair.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So I'm just going to go over the survey responses and some of the statistics I put together. So we've got over 200 responses so far. I think there's a lot more that just came in today because it's Monday. So please keep sharing. The more information we get, it's always great. So amongst UIC students, the culture does influence their decision to take the vaccine. The specific number is 42.3% of students. And I do think that's a considerably large number. So that is something that we're definitely going to have to take into consideration for this vaccine campaign we're trying to put out. 50.4% of students do not know if they're eligible to receive the vaccine. 14.3% feel somewhat to very uncomfortable receiving the vaccine. And 29.2% feel that the university has done a good job informing them about the vaccine and how to receive it, which is very low and very disappointing to hear. But the immediate next steps is to work on the infographics, and that should be ready by Wednesday. So the timeline is to hopefully push everything out by the first day after spring break. So the Monday when we get back to school, and just have all the information go out on all the platforms, which is perfect timing because Biden did say that every adult should be eligible to get vaccinated from May 1st. So the timing would work perfectly. For inquiries about the tables, I'm going to be at the College of Pharmacy tomorrow, so I can just do that in person. Something Matthew suggested is acquainting students with MyChart. So MyChart isn't just limited to UI Hospital. There's a bunch of hospitals on there within the Chicago and Illinois area that are a part of the MyChart system and program. And something we can do is showing students how to schedule a vaccine appointment on MyChart. It's very simple and straightforward. You should, if you want to know how to do that, send me a message and I can help you do that. For the GPA recalculation policy, I met with Basan on Friday to discuss strategies to approach this recalculation meeting we're going to have with the Vice Provost on April 8th. For the letter to the college for the deans, Matthew and I have started to work on that letter, and we're going to address issues regarding textbook affordability, closed captioning for classes, and amongst other concerns. So I guess if you have any other things you would like to suggest to include in that, just shoot a message or an email. And still waiting for a response from the Office of First Year Initiatives. I will follow up with them again, and hopefully they should get back to me before spring break starts. And yeah, I hope everyone has a lovely spring break, and I yield for questions and comments. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, Tega, do you think we can also get what is it, IBR approval for our data?
I suppose so.
Have it shared with people.
Definitely do that. That should be no issue.
Thank you. Also, if you want our committee to work on like some type of PowerPoint, like the one Hannah presented, we can do that.
That's great. Awesome. I guess I can give you access to like the data on Qualtrics, so you can just look up the data also. So that would be no issue. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Aitana. That would be amazing. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a really quick follow-up comment about IRB. Tika, I don't think you're gonna need it just because it is for the same like reason that our survey didn't need it. Basically, just because it's like used for intra-campus, not inter-campus, basically. So you should be good.
Cool.
Also, we can share it with like people and everything.
Yeah, so you should be able to publish results. It's just you can't like publish on a large scale. So like writing papers on it, like writing your thesis on it and then publishing your thesis like to a larger like journal is like
Oh.
that's basically what IRB is kind of talking about in regards to publishing.
Oh,
But
okay.
like posting like numbers online, I'm still kind of like working through the email that they sent because it was very jargony, but should be good.
So they sent you guidelines on how to post it?
They didn't send any guidelines. You can basically do with the data because it doesn't need IRB approval. You can do with the data whatever you want. Another point that they brought up was that your IRB approval needs to be before you publish the survey. So like you would have needed to present your survey before you published it for there to be any IRB introduction in the first place. So again, should be good. If anything comes up as a red flag to go, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then the report of the Student Affairs Chairwoman will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Campus Life Committee Chair.
Hello, everyone. I hope you had a great week. Last week, I attended the UA meeting to discuss the art drive that they're holding. And they've sent over some promotional items that I'm going to be forwarding over to PRC. And any questions about that can go to Representative Fora, who's kind of heading the initiative. In terms of the bidet initiative, everything's basically been covered. I'm going to drop the link to the one that we're thinking of buying, I believe, in the chat, and you can check it out if you'd like. We decided to go in this direction because it's more cheap and convenient, and administration won't be able to say no. But we're still looking to, like Daisy said, we're still looking to have those toilet installations for the next time bathrooms are renovated at UIC. And the plan for now is to have them be handed out via cultural centers. In terms of the carpool initiative, the Commuter Resource Center has gotten back to me with some information that they would like to be put into infographics, so I'm working on that. And I'm also planning an event with them for May, which is going to be helpful for commuter students who might be participating in the summer session, and just informational in general for commuter students. Lastly, I attended some meetings for Emergency Housing and Mental Health Coalition, and those have been covered. I yield for questions.
Are there any questions? All right, if there are no questions, then the report of the Campus Life Chairwoman will be filed. Next, we have The next order of business is announcements. Does anybody have any announcements?
Yeah, just one quick one, just for e-board members, please like stick around for like 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other announcements?
Yes, Interfaith Conversation Hour on Thursday. You can register at go.uic.edu interfaith slash, I think backwards slash, I'm not sure which one, but probably backwards slash interfaith conversation hour. I'll link in the chat.
Thank you. Any other announcements or any questions?
I haven't. So yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, great work everyone for this semester. Next week is spring break, which I'm sure everyone's excited about to relax. And so yeah, I hope everyone has a great spring break.
Thank you. Any other announcements? I have one. Don't forget to vote tomorrow. Does anybody know what time voting is tomorrow?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. until when?
Until Wednesday, 4 p.m.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, make sure you guys vote. We have a lot of current USG members that are running in that election, a lot of representatives. We have a lot of administration candidates as well. So make sure you vote. It's really important. Yeah. Any other announcements? Okay, if there are no announcements, then we can move on to the next order of business, which is adjournment. Would anyone like to motion to adjourn the meeting?
A motion to adjourn.
Okay, there has been a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Has been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All that opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? Okay, the ayes have it. This meeting is now adjourned at 7:46 p.m.